Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 9 of season 7 of our F124 Haas driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live at the weekend from Monaco, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. It's a little bit weird, of course. By the time you guys are watching this, the Australian Grand Prix has already happened. I'm recording this on Friday morning though, so was the Grand Prix crazy? Was it really boring? Are we in for a dull or interesting 2025? Someone let me know down in the comments below. Obviously, yeah, last weekend, the Monaco Grand Prix, it was a bit of a disaster for us. We failed to score any points there, finishing the race in P12, and we've had a really bad run of we either get a podium or we don't score points so far this year, and that's kind of been the key to allow Oscar Piastri just to build up some momentum at the top of the table there. The Ferrari man, 25 points clear now of George Russell at the top of the standings. We are still in third though, ahead of Lando Norris after McLaren suffered a double DNF on the Monte Carlo streets last round. However, Pierre Gasly did take the victory for Haas, so nice to see our teammate finally kind of getting into some fighting form. It does now mean we are 29 points back from Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. There's only 1 point between them and McLaren as we return to Montreal. However, this circuit I've always gone well at inside F124, so we're hoping that can continue today. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We are trying to hit 140,000 subs. Also, if you're enjoying the videos and you want to help support us just a little bit more, you can click the join button for just £1 a month and you massively help support the work we do here. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head onto the circuit.
It is time to go qualifying in Canada. A historic track. Looks simple, it's anything but. Welcome to Montreal.
Well, here we are then, ready for qualifying in Montreal, and well, although Sundays have often gone quite well for me around this venue, Saturday afternoons, they've been a bit more of a struggle. We've made plenty of errors over one lap pace, so we just need to make sure that we get a good safe lap on the board today, and that we start right up towards the front there. A little bit of a wobble through that first chicane there. Oscar Piastri, World Championship leader, just fastest through that first split. It's so difficult to really try and get a lap hooked up, and for the first time ever, it actually feels like this Haas car perhaps struggling a little bit for top-end speed. Obviously, this week we'll see the finale of our F1 2002 career mode as well. And obviously that Ferrari car in that series has struggled with top speed right the way throughout the campaign as well. But excited for 2003 as well in that series. Lando Norris, though, trading fastest at the moment with his ex-teammate in Oscar Piastri. Who is going to claim it, though, as we make our way down into the Wall of Champions chicane? We are going to have to send the car through a little bit further back, nudge the wall on the exit, but we'll carry the speed towards the line. P6 on the grid. I'm happy that we just got a lap on the board. Well, there we go. It will be our reigning world champion lining up in P1. Lando Norris alongside him, though, ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi and Charles Leclerc. Both Haas cars will lock out row 3, so I think we can be pretty happy with that. I'm really hoping that Monaco has ignited a fire in Pierre Gasly's belly for the rest of the season, but only time will tell as we head into the race.
Lights Out in Canada is approaching at a venue where the island was built for the 1967 World's Fair. The world has gathered once again. Welcome to the Canadian Grand Prix. A 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 190 miles per hour. There are 2 DRS zones, 14 turns, which conclude with the famous Wall of Champions, and many a car has found their race ending right there. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Fittipaldi, Leclerc, Gasly, Firestarter, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Iwasa, Teo Porcher, Russell, Perez, Sargent, Tsunoda, Stroll, Vesti, Behrman, Ocon, Joe, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And with preparation's almost complete. Let's head down to the track.
Well, here we are then, lining up down on the grid. P6 for the Canadian GP today, and George Russell are way down the order there in P11. The entire field was covered by just 0.8 of a second by the end of qualifying. That's pretty impressive across 20 cars on this game, especially, you know, when it feels like a few teams have got little advantages here and there. Waiting on the grid, though, for the 5 red lights here in Montreal. It's a very long hole, but it is going to be lights out, and away we go there. Trying not to get too much wheel spin off the launch. Gasly would immediately have a look to the inside of Leclerc into turn 1. Lando Norris under pressure from Enzo Fittipaldi, and once again, Oscar Piastri just going to try and run away at the front there. We will try and make it 3 wide with Leclerc and our teammate, but not able to make that happen. There was a bit of a wobble as we try and get the power down on the exit. Gasly, though, will gain the place. Oh, and Charles Leclerc, as I thought about trying to gain the place as well, but immediately, just, you know, you can always figure out with the AI when you're going to get your nose chopped off inside this game as well, though, which is, yeah, really, really not ideal. Hop, skip and a jump over the curbing, though, through the exit of Sector 2 there, but, of course, this circuit is very, very dominated by the DRS zones as well, so it's going to be about just trying to time your moves, plan ahead, everything like that. I always say F124 is like playing a game of chess, but honestly, I'd probably say it's closer to checkers, personally. Oscar Piastri, though, will lead at the end of lap 1. Ferrari with a 1-2 here early. Enzo Fittipaldi, got to make sure he doesn't make a mistake like he did last weekend. But it really does look like Ferrari have got the jump on everybody here, at least in the very early laps. Lando Norris just struggling to keep up with Enzo Fittipaldi and might find himself coming under pressure from Pierre Gasly. So we want to try and have a look to the outside of Charles Leclerc there, down in towards the final chicane. He will compromise his run, though, through the exit, so hopefully we can try and do something back in towards turn 1. Of course, we've already come to blows a couple of times this season. This time round, though, we'll make it through cleanly and up into 5th. Well, suddenly Lando Norris's lack of pace makes a lot more sense in this Grand Prix. He's actually opted for the hard compounded tyre at the start of this one. McLaren love to do an alternate strategy on side this game. Be interested to see whether it actually works out for them today or not, but clearly trying to throw something different at it here, as he has been able to close back in to Enzo Fittipaldi. Big dive bomb going again against our teammate Pierre Gasly there. Again, though, we're getting slowed down. It was not out of control or anything like that. We didn't lock up the front tyre, but we are really trying to kind of slice our way through nice and early. I'm just a bit worried that Oscar Piastri is going to be able to build up too much of a lead too early, and that'll give us big problems throughout the rest of the afternoon. Well, I think Lando Norris is just holding off from going off for a move against Enzo Fittipaldi because he knows he won't be able to pull away from him. My goal early on here is very, very different to Lando, so we'll try and get a run then on the McLaren car down in towards the final few corners. Wheel to wheel we will go, and Lando Norris clearly doesn't think this battle's worth it at the moment. Try and get the power down out of the turn as well then against Fittipaldi. Back in towards turn 1 there, to the inside we will go. Oh, but we don't get it slowed down in time. We will try and avoid kind of jumping over the curbing.
Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Oh, that is not what we want to hear for our teammate Pierre Gasly there, as all that hard work immediately undone. But yeah, poor Pierre, how many kind of bad luck moments does he get in this game? Well, because of all that battling going on. Oh, I thought Lando Norris would lose the DRS to Enzo Fittipaldi. Apparently he's just about been able to stay in the range of the Ferrari car. I've got no idea how, though. That gap never looked to be below a second. So we'll make our way back in towards turn 1. This time round we'll look for the outside line against another car. And we will swoop through and back into the podium places yet again. Well, Montreal is normally one of the worst tracks inside this game for kind of AI staying bunched up, but it definitely feels like the more seasons you do, the better things can become. There is a huge wobble at that final turn. Hopefully we'll get the run on Fittipaldi in towards turn 1 again. That time round a little bit more careful into the braking zone, and we will get around him. Oh, struggling to put the power down on the exit, and now we've got to try and close in nearly 4 seconds to Oscar Piastri.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Well, just box pit confirmed then with the team, so hopefully they'll be expecting us by the time we get down into the pit lane here. I'm looking at it, I'm hoping we could come out kind of around George Russell in this GP. Of course, Montreal's pit lane are one of the best on the calendar in terms of not losing too much time. It's a bit like Magny-Cours back in the day, but just not as interesting because it doesn't quite allow for so many aggressive strategies. Way too lenient on pit lane entry there. I reckon like Gran could have done a better job of getting the car slowed down on the way in. But hopefully that's not going to cost us too much here, as hopefully... Come on, we need a good stop team. We had a terrible one in Monaco.
There seems to have been a problem removing the right rear wheel. We need to try and put it behind us though, and let's finish this race strong.
How many times is this going to be a problem on this game for us? We've got basically everything set up that should allow us to get good pit stops reliably, and still this team cannot manage it. We will come out in a bit of clear air just behind Lance Stroll. But yeah, Gasly as well. He is having a terrible time. I think it's going to be a little while longer before we start to see some of the AI into the pit lane. Lance Stroll, their home Grand Prix for him. I'm sure that win here in Montreal feels like a very long time ago now, as we will get around the outside of him through turn 1. These hard tyres feel fantastic early on.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
As we have now stuck behind both of the Red Bulls. Got to give it credit to Logan Sargent. I thought he'd be worse than Perez this year, but he seems to be kind of leading that Red Bull team. But yeah, Perez there trying to cover us off into the braking zone. Not quite covering us off enough though. Try saying that 5 times over. But yeah, really just trying to move our way back through some of these slower cars as quickly as we can. We'll claim the DRS off of Sargent, but hopefully get him down into the hairpin there, as both Red Bulls trailing Ayumu Owasa.
Nice work. That's why I love working with you. Smashed it.
Huge moment of oversteer down at the hairpin, and that'll let Sargent come straight back at me. But we do have the DRS here, so hopefully we should be able to complete this move. Around the outside we'll go, as now we're starting to see other cars into the pit lane. Where is Oscar Piastri going to come back out? Has he even pit yet? I believe he has. There is Oscar. And how on earth did we gain back so much time against him? There goes the Ferrari man back into turn 1 there as Owasa will just get out ahead of him. So I think Oscar Piastri, he must have had a bad pit stop as well here, because I certainly don't get how we would have taken a good kind of 3 seconds out of him in this GP. So Ferrari clearly blundering as well in this Grand Prix. Yeah, now it's just a case of can we both get back around Ayumu as quickly as we can. Oscar Piastri thinks about it to the outside. He'll go down in towards the next chicane there, but Owasa will hold firm, and this really helps us out in this GP at the moment. Then will Oscar again try to have a look this time? To the outside in towards the hairpin, but again Owasa will just cover him off there, and for the net lead of the GP, we will make it through and up then into P7. There we go, Lando now into the pit lane then, so if he can come out in P3, it puts him in a really good spot there, as look at the speed Oscar Piastri had down in towards the final chicane, just having to back out of that one. Wasn't really able to do anything against him there, and Oscar then back into P1 of this Grand Prix. We've just got to be careful that we don't fight each other too aggressively too soon. As Lando Norris then, will he come out in P3? I don't think he will. I think he'll come out just behind Fittipaldi there. No, he will get the jump, will he? So close on pit lane exit, but Norris is through. So that really helps him out then. He can afford to take those fresher tyres and absolutely try and wring the neck out of that McLaren car. The gap is 9 seconds with 14 laps to go. Well, I'm already slightly worried the fact Lando's taken over almost a second out of us on that lap, and we are still battling with Oscar there. Seems to be a little bit of a gentleman's agreement that whoever's kind of losing the place will back out of it, but that will only work for so long. Well, I'm trying to do the maths in my head at the moment, and by the end of this Grand Prix, Lando Norris, I think at the rate he's closing in, would probably get to us on the last lap of the GP. I know, though, Oscar Piastri behind me is just not pushing that hard at the moment. As soon as I say that, he'll have a look to the inside there, but think better of it. But yeah, I'm trying not to take too much out of our tyres, push too much to keep Oscar at bay. because I don't then want to be vulnerable to both him and Lando towards the end of the Grand Prix. This has really become an interesting one of strategy, and I got no idea how it's going to play out with 8 laps to go. Oh, we are really just trying to control things towards the end of this Grand Prix, but Oscar Piastri, another move this time round, down in towards turn 1. And we try and get the long way around him off of the corner, and this will really help Lando out. You can see even just through those first couple of corners, he takes almost a second out of us, as now these hard tyres, I wouldn't quite say they're gone just yet, but they're certainly not providing us with the confidence that they once were here. So tricky, Montreal. They changed it a few years ago, and now it's so difficult to try and put the power down on this venue there, as I wanted to have a look to the outside of Oscar, but he certainly won't let me have that one for free there. We've got to certainly work a little bit harder to try and make these moves happen. 5 laps to go, though, of the Canadian Grand Prix. Lando Norris is still taking a second lap out of Oscar and I. This is far from over as we get towards the end of the GP, and this is what Montreal, it throws up so many classic late race battles. I absolutely love it, as Oscar Piastri again just sitting a bit defensive in towards those final couple of turns, making it very clear what he's going to be doing there. He's going to defend the inside line back in towards turn 1. And I just don't have the grit to go for it. Oh, we're going to have to start going defensive. Oh, we can't go defensive. Oscar Piastri. It was maybe a bit of a late move to try and defend the position there. I don't know if he's picked up front wing damage or whether he was able to get away with that one. I think he's okay. And we'll give him the spot then back in towards turn 1 there that time round. But I just want to try and move over to the inside line and cover him off, but Oscar Piastri so committed, had the little bit of extra speed off of the corner. Luckily, yeah, he has still got his entire front wing. That was not my intention to try and make a late block. Well, into the final 2 laps then of this Canadian Grand Prix. There's still 2 of us that are battling at the front, and there's still another car that is just reining us in late on in the day. A 3-way battle potentially could unfold here towards the end of the Canadian Grand Prix, but Oscar Piastri is still defending as best as he can there. We'll just bait the move to the inside, see if we can compromise his run through the chicane, which we will do, and to the inside through turn 4 and turn 5 there. That's not often where you see the overtakes being made. Around the outside we'll go though, and up, into P1. Team loving that as well there, but I think again he'll have the DRS though, off of the corner to the outside. We'll go the Australian again. We will just try and defend through the exit of the corner there. But look at the gap to Lando. He's almost got inside the range of Oscar Piastri now. So not too sure whether he's going to be able to kind of be a threat on the last lap of this race there. The tyres, the old hard compound of rubber, are really starting to fall away right towards the end of the afternoon. But we've got to try and defend from Oscar Piastri, but we've just got to try and save enough battery as well in case he gets a run on me on the very last lap there. I knew coming to Montreal we should be a threat, we should be in contention. We usually are around this venue, but with 1 lap to go, can we try to convert to victory here? Leading into the last lap is no guarantee inside F124 there, up through the second chicane I should say of the lap. Trying to just keep it away from the barriers as best as we can there. But Oscar Piastri, you just never know what the young Australian is doing. Waiting in the wings for an opportunity, for a sniff, for a chance on this last lap of the GP. He will be the one with the DRS in towards the final few corners. But will we be able to control the pace there? I think Lando Norris, his mediums, just giving up on the last lap of the Grand Prix. We've just got to try and get the power down off of this hairpin against Oscar there, and it looks like he's struggling a little bit in that Ferrari car to really do anything against us. We've got enough fuel to get round to the checkered flag. Here comes Oscar Piastri though, a huge amount of speed in towards those final couple of corners there. We will go wheel to wheel in through the final chicane. That might allow Lando Norris to get a run on the run towards the line. We will claim the victory.
Yes, 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 guys, yes! Come on, boys! Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserve that race win. Well done, mate.
So that's it then for another magnificent Canadian Grand Prix, and they have hung on to take a sublime victory here today.
It's one thing to put fast laps together, but to make these moves stick without losing too much time, that's real racecraft.
Haas are no doubt happy with today's performance, having secured the win this weekend. And our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations as we speak.
Well, there we are then, 3 cars separated by just quarter of a second come the checkered flag this weekend, but we will make it 3 victories in a row for Haas so far this season. It really does seem like the team has found our rhythm. Lando Norris will sneak past Oscar on the run towards the line there for P2, with both Ferraris in 3rd and 4th. Fernando Alonso, never really saw him all day, but he managed to get up to P5 ahead of Leclerc. Russell ahead of Porsche, with Iwasa and Perez rounding out your top 10. Gasly narrowly missing out in P11, but yeah, I felt Oscar Piastri had it quite easy in the early laps. He was admittedly very unlucky that Ferrari also had a slow pit stop, because I think had he not had that, we would have really struggled to kind of get to him by the end of the afternoon. It was just Lewis Hamilton, though, that failed to see the checkered flag this weekend in what ended up being quite an uneventful Grand Prix further down the order. Championship-wise, though, it does now mean we are up into 2nd place overall. Oscar now with a 29-point lead at the top of the table, ahead of myself there. Both McLaren still inside your top 4, with Charles Leclerc, Alonso and Fittipaldi all back ahead of Pierre Gasly as well there. Further down the order, you can see Perez again just extending his championship lead over Logan Sargent, and we hyped up Théo Pourchaire at the start of the year. Boy oh boy, is he now not really living up to that hype anymore in this campaign. Constructors-wise, Ferrari still lead there. They open up the gap to 3 ahead of McLaren. Haas will bring the... Oh, actually lose out slightly there. The gap now 31 to Ferrari as well, which is a bit of a disappointment. Mercedes still ahead of Aston Martin. Red Bull still ahead of VCarb, Alpine and Williams there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the the Spanish Grand Prix.